My guest for the morning, Adams Mutawakilu. He's a member of parliament for Damango. He's here in the studio. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you very much.
He is also parliament's vice chair for the Mines and Energy Committee. And a member of that very committee is also here, Dr. Nana Ato Arthur, a former Central Regional Minister, but currently member of parliament for the KEEA. It's in the Central Region. The constituency fully just means Komenda Edna Eguafo Abrim. And if you know Elmina, they'll be having a festival, I believe, in the next month or this month.
We had a festival.
Oh, we've had their festival. Cape Coast, rather, will be having a festival the next
You're
month.
right.
And you get to know that Elmina is also within that very bracket. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you very much. You know,
if you remember last week, he was here
Accra.
complaining bitterly about his constituents who had been removed from the voter register. And that very number still have not had a majority of them, or many of them, getting re-registered. We'll talk about that very issue succinctly before we leave. But right now is the subject of how the Institute for Democratic Governance expressed grave concerns regarding a petition some government appointees and ministers, etc., are said to be signing to compel the president to pardon the convicted 3 persons known in the media or the media public space as the Montie 3. We know they are serving their sentence, so to speak. But I know Adams Mutawakilu was just telling me that he has also signed.
Yes.
You've also signed as well?
Yes, I signed it.
What's the rationale for signing? And I know some of your colleagues also signed in Parliament. Yes. Some had to go to Radio Gold.
Thank you very much. I think this thing has been ongoing for some time now. And in life, people make statements and show remorse. In life, people make statements and they never regret it for whatever statement they have made. And they are ready to face the consequences of that statement made. And as such, the view I have is that once you have made a statement and immediately you show remorse, you apologize on countless occasions, at least you put a human face in whatever you want to do. And it has been repeated in almost most courts. The remorse that you show go to a long way to determine, and the judge will mostly indicate as a result of the remorse or AB, your sentences will be reduced to this. And in this statement, in this Montie issue, I think all of them from day one apologize both on air and at the court and made it very clear that it won't be repeated. Then at the end of the day, the 4 months, in my view, I thought was quite harsh, and therefore in solidarity with them and wishing that the president will intervene, I signed it. But I know there is a process by which such pardon are given, and I know the president will do a lot of extensive consultation.
And make a decision. Did you listen to the tapes of these individuals who were on that very program that very day?
Yeah, I listened to it.
You've listened
twice.
to it fully? Twice,
yes.
So you listened to it and analyzed it and decided to go and sign?
And that is what I'm saying. People make statements, but showing remorse and apologizing.
Didn't you think that the statements were that grave?
No.
If, let's say, any of the judges who were referred to in that very tape, let's say, were your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, your family, etc.
Yeah. Let me tell you, people kill and show remorse, and they are forgiven by individuals.
But you have to serve a sentence, or
now,
you have to serve a punishment.
That is what I'm saying.
You are just not forgiven in a vacuum.
I'm not saying that for the fact that they made such statement, we all admitted they didn't do well.
Mr. Adams Mutawakilu, do you think that the justices before the Supreme Court, when these 3 individuals appeared before them, never forgive them, but just decided to say that you've not been forgiven until
not necessarily forgiven. I would have wished they should have stated that as a result of the remorse you showed over the period after that statement had been made, we thought that instead of this number of months, we've reduced it to this, so that we can have a measurement.
I see.
Yeah, very, very important. And almost most of those people who show remorse, the judges will indicate it clearly. But if it is evident that these people have shown remorse, and in passing your judgment, there was no reference to it, I'll conclude straight away that that is the full sentencing you have given.
Yes. Your comments, Dr. Nanatuata.
First of all, let me say hi to your cherry viewers, particularly if those in Commander Ednego Afabrim have the opportunity to watch it. You know, we have recently gone back to the 4-year period where we had a lot of power cuts. So I'm not too sure whether they are fortunate to watch.
We're speaking of Montie 3, you're talking about power cuts.
I am coming
We'll talk about
He's always finding ways.
I am coming.
Because he always copy me, that's why
maybe because both of us find ourselves on the Mines and Energy Committee, and the power issue is very dear to our heart, you know, so no time that I find myself here and talk about. But going to Montie issue, first of all, let me say that I wish them well wherever they find themselves today, and not only the Montie 3, all the others who, one way or the other, find themselves in our correctional homes, whether Ankafo, in Sanwem, or wherever. I think that I don't need to revisit what led these Montie 3 where they are today. What they said, we need to condemn. We need to condemn what they said. It's unprintable.
Well, true. But the fact that it's unprintable doesn't mean they don't have to be forgiven.
Why?
Haven't they shown enough remorse?
When people talk about suppression of press freedom, I would say that it is suppression of abuse of press freedom.
It's rather suppression of abuse of press.
Abuse of press freedom. What they do is abuse of press freedom. This guy do not need any mercy. 4 months is more than enough. 4 months. Plus 1,000 Ghana. I agree totally with former GBA president, Mr. Samuel Kudjoto. I respect that man so well. Every Ghanaian knows this man, his contribution to the GBA, the legal system in Ghana.
One, you know?
The others, but I'm talking about. I'm citing him.
I'm picking him, and I'm saying, is it the only aspect he knows about?
No, there are very many others, but I respect lawyer Samuel Kudjoto, and I agree totally, you know, with him. I believe that 4 months plus 1,000 Ghana, 10,000, not 1,000, 10,000 Ghana cedis each. It's fair.
It's fair.
It's fair. Because if you talk about being harsh, then perhaps you have other standards. It could have been 2 months. It could have been 3 months. What are we using to measure being harsh? What are we using to measure? You see, people really need to be responsible. As we sit here, people are watching us. We don't have repository of knowledge. Everything, no. We are sharing our ideas, the little that I know, the little that my friend knows. Here, we are just privileged to have found ourselves here discussing this, you know, issue. It doesn't mean that. Yes. It doesn't mean that we know it all.
And so you have to abuse.
So we have to abuse. That others do not matter.
But even if you find yourself in that very situation, and then it's pointed out to you, the comment you made earlier on a certain program, were averse to what the norms of societal thinking is, and you come before a panel of eminent people who are supposed to, of course, be your judge, and you show remorse, is that not why once you have been declared guilty, you've shown remorse, you should be forgiven? Because already, after all, you've been declared, sentenced that you're guilty.
It was too late for them. Too late for them.
It's as if we're being mean to them.
No. Listen, if somebody needs to be forgiven, that person will show remorse. You see the person that really, this person needs to be forgiven. But you see, just go to Elmina, just go to Cape Coast. Somebody just went to steal a goat. He showed remorse at the time that he's in court. He's in Ankafu, 6 months, 1 year. But what pains me more is honorable members of parliament, ministers of state, going to sign that the president invokes Article 72 of our constitution.
Well, that's their right. The constitution guarantees them that.
I am sad for this nation. If members of parliament, and all these that is military did, but they are causing problem rather for His Excellency the President. But I don't think the President in his right frame will ever think of invoking Article 72 of our constitution. Then he himself is going, I mean, then he's going to abuse the justice system in Ghana. I am very hopeful. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama wouldn't dare. You people shouldn't lead John Mahama into temptation. You are leading him to temptation. You are leading him into temptation.
Well,
you shouldn't do that, please.
Well, that's all right. So you're not going to sign. None of your
sign
none of your political.
No,
but essentially,
to sign.
But essentially, so you listen to the tape, you watch all the proceedings in court. And then after analyzing, you decided to go and sign, just like Adam. It seemed
Adam, have you condemned?
We seem to have politicized the issue. What do you make of it?
I've made it over and over again that when a person shows remorse and apologize, that means he has accepted guilt.
Well, we said that.
That is a fact. We have to.
So, but there's a punishment for every
yes.
There's a consequence for every action you take.
You see, he said he's surprised about members of parliament signing.
Not only surprised, sad.
You see,
I'm sad.
When Kennedy Ajapon said Evans and Gans should be murdered, and he was
Kennedy Ajapon did say that Evans and Gans should be murdered, please.
You are not in this country.
I was in the country.
When he was invited to the police headquarters,
he never did.
Some MPs and big wigs vandalized street lights, traffic lights for that statement in defense. And when he was released, it was celebrated at the party quarters.
I see.
And you sit here and tell me this. And let me say, people show remorse and they are forgiving. And I understand when President Kufuor in 2000 was campaigning, he indicated clearly that when he comes to power, he is going to reduce the numbers of ministers drastically.
Oh.
He came and increased it beyond.
What the relevance?
But he came out and said that he didn't know, because as at the time he made the statements,
he didn't know
he was not in government until he got to government. That is a remorse. And he's indicating that he has made a mistake. And I say he was given a second term. So those things happen.
Okay,
and we must admit those things. So when people show
you're
remorse,
saying that once people commit an act, they show remorse, they should be forgiven. Your point has been made.
That is what I'm saying. When they indicated it, I thought the judges would have said, for the fact that you showed